Ooh, it's yummy, too.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Here I am.
This is Roadhouse Brewing Company, The Walrus Hazy IPA. Yeah. Real good.
Wow, this is delicious.
It almost has like a little bit of red ale feel in it.
I think there's supposed to be some hints of... There's a big description of it on the side. I think it's got some grapefruit stuff and whatever.
That's what it is. It's grapefruity.
It's delicious.
Yes, it's very good.
And I can't... Where is Roadhouse Brewing?
I don't know, buddy. That's up to you. That's way too small print. You know, Danny, I had to go order glasses because that's how blind I've gotten. So.
No, I can really read it, but let's see. Roadhouse. Oh, Jackson, Wyoming.
Oh.
Brewed and canned by Roadhouse Brewing Company in beautiful Jackson, Wyoming.
Is that the same as Jackson Hole?
I think so, yes. I do believe so. It's a lovely can. It's really elaborate artwork on it.
It's got some mushrooms behind a couple of walrus. And
the walrus is on either side, and it's browns and blacks, and it's cool.
It's very delicious,
Lots going on here. Yummy.
What do you think?
I'm going 8.2.
Ooh!
This is a delicious hazy IPA.
Well, hazies are your jam. But fruity beers are my jam, too. This is one of the best hazies I think I've had in a very long time.
Right. Well, I think right now my favorites are the juicies.
That's my favorite now, too.
But I like the hazies. Hazies and juicies, yes.
You know what else this tastes like? This is a little bit feeling like the Rat AF from City Barrel.
Yeah, I can see that.
It kind of tastes like that. I'm just going to agree with you and just go 8.2 because this is good.
It is good.
And I'm very thirsty. I don't want to be...
Brewed with peaches and tangerines.
Oh.
That's what it says.
Okay.
I knew it had something kind of fruit.
It's got some fruit in it.
But for people, people always think, oh, no, this tastes like beer. This doesn't taste like, just got hints of peaches and tangerines.
Yeah, this isn't...
Nothing fruity about it. This isn't a seltzer.
This isn't some hoity-toity beer.
No, it is not.
Where does hoity-toity come from, Danny?
Didn't we do this?
You asked me to do it.
And you didn't?
I looked it up.
Oh, I thought we were done with this.
This is the first of our old-timey phrase section, buddy.
Oh, all right. That's right. It's a new segment, which is sort of like a fact check.
Yeah. But it's where I try to get you to figure
Let me
it out.
think. I usually have some kind of derivation that pops into my brain, and I am not getting instant oatmeal here. It's not coming to me.
Well, don't feel bad, because it derives from a word we don't use anymore.
Aha.
So there's a now obsolete word that was hoit. Okay.
Like HOIT?
Yes, and that meant to act in a boisterous or rude way.
Huh.
So when you acted hoity-toity, you were being boisterous and rude, and then over time, that became, it evolved into the modern meaning, which,
kind of
condescending
fancy.
or pretentious or something.
Right.
Like that.
That seems like a weird path to derivation, because it's really not, hoity-toity is more like, you're being pretentious and like rich. Hoity-toity is like if you were
but imagine
being ostentatious about your wealth.
Yes, but imagine back in when rich people would just kick poor people out of the way. I mean, that's
right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of
you were acting the hoit.
Yes.
So we don't use hoit anymore. That's funny.
I mean, I'm going to start using it.
Yeah. Well, hoity-toity it's almost like hotty-toddy. That's what the old Miss. Isn't that it? Hotty-toddy?
I've heard hotty-toddy, like hot toddy. I've heard hot toddy.
No, I think that's what it's like saying suey pig for Arkansas. I think if you're a Mississippi fan, you say hotty-toddy to somebody else.
Ole Miss?
I believe
or
that's Ole Miss.
Mississippi State?
Ole Miss. I believe that's right. That'll be a good fact check, but I'm about 98% sure that you say, sort of just like Go Blue, or
aren't they the Rebels or something?
Yeah, they are the Rebels, but
which
I think they
also,
and they still are the Rebels, I believe.
Yeah, really.
I think mostly it doesn't seem like they use it. Well, they They stuck to some Confederate flag stuff for a long time there.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did.
Maybe I'll look that up too.
Yeah, so I think hotty toddy is sort of their little thing they say to each other. Like to just say, I know that, we're both from Ole Miss.
Wink, wink.
A lot of people
how we feel about
a lot of people from I've heard a lot of people from Kansas City go to school at Ole Miss.
Really?
Yeah. I believe it's sort of a popular destination.
Well, I don't know anything about it. It's a good school.
I think it's for the Southeast Conference. It's a beautiful town.
What town is it?
Oxford.
Have you been there?
I have not, but they're renowned for their tailgating in the Grove, and people really dress fancy. Like,
this is the place where it's the
right. It's in a beautiful park, I guess, or the Grove is what it's called, and people really dress up fancy, like they're going to
the ball
or church or something. And I think the girls wear like white fancy dresses, and the guys wear ties, and I think there's a lot of that going on. Now, I don't know if they've kept the dressing part.
Some Southern gentlemen.
Right. So I think that, I think it's by SEC standards, I guess it's supposed to be pretty good academically.
Well, it sounds like the kind of clothes you'd pay an arm and a leg for, Danny.
Yes.
Where do you think that came from? And there's one there, so it seems obvious.
Well, to me, it would probably be when you're bartering, you would be giving an arm or leg of an animal.
Oh, that's interesting.
That would be my guess.
Wow, that's very interesting. I did not read that as a thing.
Well, I mean, I could absolutely be wrong, but it seems like you're not going to lop off your own arm or leg. So I think you would give an arm, like if you had a steer or a pig or something, you might say, I'll give you an arm. No, I want an arm and a leg. I'm just...
Oh, my gosh, that's interesting.
Spitballing here.
Well, I found two explanations, and that's not one of them.
Okay.
So...
do tell.
One of them is, it came from the idiom, like, I'd give my right arm for that.
Right.
Right. And so, like, it just kind of grew out of that. The idea that something costs a lot and you'd be willing to give an arm for it. And that's fine.
So then they took it to the next level where they say,
I'd give
that's going to cost an arm and a leg.
But, I mean, that's fine. I don't like that one. I like the second one. I think the second one's right. Okay. So, in the 1700s, 1800s, it became popular to get portraits drawn of yourself and your family, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you could save some money in these portraits if they did not draw your arms or your legs, because that's really hard to do. Because it's hard to make it look... I mean, you just look at poorly drawn portraits when they have arms and legs, it's like nothing's in like proportion, right? So it's really hard. It's like hands. Hands are really hard to draw. So you could save some money on your family portrait that you're having drawn or painted if you cut out the arms and the legs. So from there,
I do like that explanation better,
right? So from there, it's like, oh, this is going to cost an arm and a leg. It's just like...
Right, because you're going to put an arm and a leg in. No, I want an arm and a leg in there.
We'll have the arm and the leg, by God.
That's right. Well, you'll pay for it.
We're not piss poor.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, thus ends the end of my prepared statements, Danny.
Well, there you go.
What do you got for us?
No, I don't... Once you said prepared statements, I was about to think of political statements, and we're not doing that.
No, let's not.
We're not doing that for sure. So
I don't even know what politics really is anymore.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Just ignore it.
Let's just drop away from that. Your travails and excursions are probably done for a while after a busy summer.
They are, buddy. Yeah, we got a little bit of a break going on for travel. I got invited the other day to play in a member guest at a country club.
Okay.
And the guy who asked me, we've not played golf together. And I said, well, I'm not sure that you want me. And he goes, well, do you have a GHIN? And I go, yeah. And he goes, well, what's your handicap? And I go, well, I mean, I got it down to like 16.8 earlier this year, but right now I'm like a 19.5. And he goes, perfect.
Perfect.
Because I want to be in that that 20+ handicap flight.
Well,
So
there you
I'm going to
go.
go play in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go play in a member guest, which I've never done.
You can say where it is. You don't have to say who it is. Where to? Or maybe you don't want to say that either.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I just
I'm sure it's nice if they have a member guest.
I got the official invite today.
I've only played in a couple. I played back in the day in a member guest in Wamego, Kansas, with a great friend of mine, Bill Stallard. And
does he still live there?
he does.
I've got a good friend that lives in Wamego.
I used to do Washburn University games with him back in the late 90s.
Oh, he's a broadcaster.
He is a broadcaster, and for years he broadcast all the Wamego high school stuff. When that was starting, sort of in the formative stages of that becoming commonplace to, broadcast on your local little access channel. He would do that, but he also did Washburn, and we were partners, and he would, because they mostly did double headers, especially in league play. The women would play the first game, and the men would play the second game.
Yeah.
So we'd swap off, and generally, I think he did the women's game, and I did color on the women's game, and then I did play-by-play on. And a really great guy. And so we that back then, the Wamego was a 9-hole course that you played twice. Now they have another 9. It's a lovely golf course out there near Manhattan. Yeah, it's a nice little town. I like Wamego. It's cool. I actually, when I used to stay in Manhattan for college game day, because I did all the setup and I didn't want to drive in the morning.
Yeah, and you used to broadcast
Manhattan.
from that T-shirt store.
Yeah,
or whatever, right?
Varney's first, and then we did a couple of hotels eventually. But when we were at Varney's, there was a particular hotel that sometimes would put me up, but sometimes the place was full or whatever. I think originally I would just sort of work on my own and figure stuff out, but sometimes there was nothing in Manhattan.
Oh yeah, because there's not that many.
So I stayed a couple times in Junk City, and I stayed in, because it's a good solid 80 to 90 minute drive, and I didn't really want to get up. Got a choice between, I don't know, hotel, gym, 10-minute drive, or up at 5, workout, drive 90 minutes to Manhattan. Easy choice. But I stayed in Wamego a couple times, too, because it's about 15 miles away. The Oz Museum is also in.
I've seen the sign on I-70.
It's a cute little museum. I took my kids there when they were young. Yeah. Wamego's a cool little place.
I'm going to have to check it out. A good friend of mine, Jake Pugh, lives there. He owns the local law office in town there. So
you should, what you should do? You should hit him up to play some golf.
I know, yeah. I was just thinking.
I played golf there. Like, I think one time I took, took Friday off or had Friday off and went and played golf in the afternoon there. And the new 9 holes, it's turned into a wonderful course because the old the 9-holer was kind of unique and interesting. And then the new one is like a modern 9 holes of golf. So
is it a muni? Like you can get on, no problem?
Oh, yeah. It's a country club per se, but I'm pretty sure it's public. I haven't played there in at least 10 years. But we need to get out. We talked about this before.
We're putting it on the calendar before you leave this.
We've been so busy that basically our text exchange included, we need to get together for something besides Thirsty Thursdays.
Well, I didn't play for 3 weeks after I got back from Torrey Pines, and that's partially to try to let my elbow get better. But I went out and played, no practice, barely any warm-up last weekend, and just said, I'm just going to have fun, not going to worry about it.
Oh, that's usually when you play best.
Of course I did.
Of course you didn't?
Of course I did.
Oh, you
it was
did,
great.
right, yeah.
It was great. I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic, So I'm trying to think when I play golf, I'm going to be more zen.
Yeah, that's it.
Playing golf with you is not conducive to that.
I can say that, but you'll just have to play. I just need to play better because I'm fine when I'm playing well. But the problem is, the better I play, the madder I get when things don't go right. And then, of course, you have the day like I do practice. I've probably played, I don't know, I think even played a dozen times this year, but I practice probably at least 3 times a week. You put in a good 45-minute